Warning. Warning.
This show contains mature content. Listener discretion is advised.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
One angry New York City Puerto Rican decided to start a radio show, determined to piss the world off by shoving a mirror in front of society's face. He kicked them in the balls.
What are you? Who are you?
This is the Crotch Shot Radio Show. Crotch Shot Radio Show.
This is not a test. This is a broadcast transmission.
We're going to stay on the air.
And now, Louis B.
Welcome to the Crotch Shot Radio Show, where we kick the issues in the balls. We're on an active war against bullshit. We would do anything and everything to expose bullshit. The ends sometimes justify the memes. So if you're angry and want the truth exposed, then strap in and prepare to be shocked. This is Smash Mouth Talk. If you can't accept it, then fuck off. I'm your host, Louis B. I takes no bullshit from nobody. I actually expose the bullshit of society and chop it up into easy to digest chunks for you. Today won't be any different. Today, we're going to be talking about our favorite subject, Antifa. And how they are a bunch of hypocrites. But let me call someone who's going to help me with that subject. I'll be joined with Gabriel Brown. He is a researcher of Antifa and various other subjects. Yeah, so we're getting him on now.
Hello.
Hey, brother, how you doing? You're on live.
How's it going, Louis?
Hey, yeah, no, I wanted to get you on so we could talk about that post from Antifa New York City about them calling people anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
that's really funny.
Yeah,
of course it's. Yeah, you know what it is, Louis? Remember that girl that said that somebody twisted her arm and hurt her, but then it turns out she tried stealing property.
Oh, yeah, I've had her on this show twice. She's she's a comedian, allegedly.
Yeah, well, the reason I bring up that story is, like I was saying, is she claimed, oh, my arm was twisted and I was hurt. It's like, well, what's the context behind it?
Mm-hmm.
You tried to steal someone's flag. Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason that's relevant is because Antifa is claiming everyone's anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Why are they claiming that? Because it just happened to turn out that a pedophile that was convicted for less time than our friends Max and John just happened to be a Jewish rabbi. So forget that he's a pedophile. We can't talk about that. The fact that he's Jewish, that makes us anti-Semitic for exposing it.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, none of us even had that on our mind when we saw that case. We just saw the fact that the judge let a pedophile have less time in prison than our good friends.
Yeah, we focused.
We weren't even thinking about a Jewish person.
No. I mean, and it is funny because I brought up in earlier shows. I mean, when we were at May Day, I mean, they were chanting "Israel, go to hell." They're against the state of Israel, and I'm like, wait, how are they not anti-Semitic? How how are you? First of all, if you're so concerned with preventing another Holocaust from happening, why are you doing everything in your power to make sure a Jewish state doesn't exist?
Well, that's a complicated issue, as you know.
Yeah.
I could talk about it. I'll be called an anti-Semite if I talk about it, but the thing is, well, you know what it is? There's a selective enforcement of selective outrage.
Yeah.
You see, if I talk about these issues, they call me a Nazi, Holocaust denier, anti-Semite. But if these regressives on the left talk about essentially very similar things, or even more radically anti-Jewish or Semitic type stuff,
Yeah.
they kind of, for the most part, get a pass, with the exception of the Jewish identitarians who are kind of obsessed with their Jewish identity. They just call everyone an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they'll get a pass, and we'll get accused because they're going to be like, oh, you're on the right. And some of these people actually call Israel a white supremacist state. They believe it's a white supremacist Nazi state.
And honestly, I got people, first of all, not to try to sound cool or anything, but I got people in Haifa, in Israel, who are mad tan. So there are a lot of tan Jews in Israel. So
like I said, it's a complicated issue. I mean, there's actually some kind of issue that some of them have with other Jews, and it's so complicated. That's why I just stick with an America First position, and try to keep my personal thoughts on the issue of Palestine and Israel out of the discussion, because I think those are issues that those people have to square away for themselves. I have really nothing to do with me. And I don't think any of our money is going to help square away those issues when it's lobbied by AIPAC or, the Palestinians for, their self-interest. I think it's only going to perpetuate those conflicts further, and which is not what we want. We got roads falling apart here. None of our money should be transferred elsewhere. We got to fix our country first before we can help anybody.
Well, Ariel Sharon said it himself. We don't need the U.S. money. We don't need nation building. We're already built.
Well, that's the attitude some people have, and I generally agree with them. I mean, there are pro-Zionist people who do have libertarian views, and who don't want the United States handing money to them because they think that they're capable of defending their own, state, so to speak. I've listened to arguments on both sides. I understand the grievances that they both have. But, like you said, it's a very complicated issue. And unfortunately, Antifa is trying to go the anti-Semitic route to attack us because, they're going to use anything. But it brings up a very interesting point. With regard to pedophilia. Now, they're not upset over the fact that the guy was a pedophile and convicted. They're more upset with the fact that we pointed out that he was convicted just because they believe that we're obsessed with his Jewish identity.
Yeah.
When none of us cared about that. He just happened to be a Jewish rabbi. But they're more upset about the fact that we would expose that than they are about the guy that hurt children.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of saying the other day, how do I put this? Well, I guess pedophilia is okay so long as you're a Jewish vegetarian in Antifa's eyes. Mm-hmm. They don't seem like pedophiles of other stripes, although I could be wrong. But, God forbid they happen to be Jewish.
Well,
Can't talk about that.
I think it's more about politics or anything. I mean, because if you are an anti-fascist, if you are let's say you are an equal opportunity degenerate. Let's say you don't just rape boy minors, girl minors. Hey, if you rape trans minors, then you're an all-inclusive. So you get an automatic pass in the club when it comes to Antifa.
This is why it's so crazy, this progressive stack, where it's certain groups are given special privileges over others because of quote-unquote oppressed status. It's when it comes to me, I don't care if you're Jewish, Muslim, Christian, whatever the hell you are.
Yeah.
You're raping children, you're a piece of dirt. and I have no respect for you. But it seems with them, based
much-
on the
much less respect
scale
for
of
me.
oppression, some pedophiles apparently are less problematic than others. Maybe I'm wrong. But, we can't really ask Antifa if I'm wrong because they're unwilling to have dialogue with people, and they just want to beat people up instead of clarify their positions on things because they don't believe in giving a platform to people they disagree with. So I can only assume that that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong, but again, they're not giving me much to work with now, are they?
No.
So that's very interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, this just really goes with their hypocrisy, because they don't follow the you said it before, rules for thee, not for me.
Yes, that is how they operate. They create a whole standard of rules. They themselves don't actually follow, and then they try to impose it upon you. And these rules can change at a moment's notice because they're living rules. They evolve with the way a person thinks. Mm-hmm. There's no concrete universal component to it. Now, I'm generally opposed to collectivism, but when it comes to rules, collectively speaking, I would imagine they should probably apply equally to all.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they don't actually apply rules equally to all. They separate themselves at some times, whereas they impose it upon others at many times. And, that's what you're seeing. The fact that they would even try to go with the route of being upset over the fact that we pointed out that there was a pedophile and they just happened to be Jewish, I don't even think they sincerely care.
Well, no, that's the thing.
That the person was Jewish. I think they're just obsessed with. They're just looking for anything to attack people with.
Yeah,
they don't even really care about whether or not it was actually anti-Semitic or not.
They're not attacking the fact that they're attacking a key word. Let's say we're we go, hey, this tranny helped feed the homeless. Congratulate this tranny. Oh, why are you calling her a tranny? What? No matter how positive it is, or more. This tranny flashed his genitals at a bunch of children. Oh, she's stunning and brave. You misgendered her, and blah 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 blah. No,
they're uninterested in the act of that somebody does to somebody. They're just obsessed with the label.
Yeah,
and they want to provide this person a pass regardless of their behavior.
Yeah.
And look, I'm all for freedom. I'm all for respecting people. Mm-hmm. I will call you whatever you request because I don't like to be a jerk to people unless I have to be. But if you're hurting people, I'm going to call you out on it. And just because you have a protected label, you're not protected from your actions. Your actions dictate the consequences. Isn't that what Antifa tells us? That there's consequences for our thoughts? Well, apparently only we get these consequences, but everyone else that's actually hurting people, they get free pass. And I find that remarkable. And that's why I don't trust these people that have power. I don't trust the system they want to establish. I think it's absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. And these people are dangerous. They're going to hurt anybody they can if it's necessary for their cause. And they don't care. They don't even care. You know what the funny thing is? They'll scream all day, oh, you're attacking a Jew. Oh, you're attacking a trans person. But as you know, Antifa constantly attacks Jews and trans people all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Physically, I might add.
Oh, yeah. They go after Alyssa Bang all the time in Portland all the time.
Yeah. Oh, they attack black people. They're like, we don't need your kind if you're not politically aligned with us. They act like Klansmen. I mean, it's absolutely that crazy. But that's what they do. They don't care. They act like they're the advocates of these people. Mm-hmm. But the minute they go off script or not going along with their agenda, those people are viciously attacked. I mean, I've seen Antifa go around using the, faggot word to describe people.
Oh, yeah.
Over and over again. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So, what can I say? This is what they do. They're not really sincere when it comes to like who they claim they're protecting. And then they'll attack us and say, "Oh, you said this horrible word, or you did that."
Yeah.
Again, rules for thee, but not rules for me. Because they don't follow their own examples.
No,
I've seen articles where they'll attack people saying, "Oh, you said the F word." Meanwhile, I hear them say it all the time.
Yeah,
But I don't see anybody on their side even correct them for doing it.
Yeah, like I've been like in my case, in my personal case, I've been called a nigger. I've been called a spick, but because they feel justified because I don't subscribe to the approved political ideology.
And the funny thing is, I'm not allowed to use those words because if I use it, I get in trouble. But if they use it, that's perfectly kosher, as they say. Which is why I almost want to get a DNA test to find out what all the different interesting racial backgrounds I actually have in my DNA.
Yeah, but guess what? That won't work because if I was to say it, if I was to say nigger, I would get in trouble because I'm not black enough.
Enough, right? Not enough. Oh, I see. So there's different scales of what they.
Yes.
These are crazy rules.
Mm-hmm.
These are absolutely fucking crazy rules. Yeah, I can't use those words, but they can. Come on. That's why I'd love to get a DNA test and see all the different racial makeup I have. And then when they try to come at me, I'd be like, well, technically I'm part this, part that, so I can't really say that I'm this white power person. Well, but they will, because they call our black friends white supremacists.
Oh, yeah.
All day long.
Oh, yeah, that's why I posted that picture with us on Instagram. Is like the brownest white supremacist group ever. It's just, it's fucking ridiculous. It's like, first of all, me personally, I took this test that was put out by the Canadian Broadcasting Channel or Canadian Broadcasting Company because they had this news magazine. And it was a story you can see it on YouTube of racial discrimination in Canada, and they made up this test to see how racist a person is by answering like 100 questions. So I took this quiz, and you know what my results were?
What were your results?
I'm not loyal to any type of group.
Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? Especially these left-wing people who, they're racial identitarians.
Yeah.
They're going to let you know what a race traitor you are all day long.
I mean,
that's what they do.
Which means I'm naturally not racist, but I wouldn't piss on none of y'all to put you out if you were on fire.
Yeah, no, these people are obsessed with race. They're obsessed with all this stuff, and they want to beat people over that with it. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They're not trying to stop racism. They want to perpetuate it.
Yeah, no, they
want to divide and conquer groups against each other. They want to play off everyone against each other as pawns.
I posted it on Instagram. Here's a result. Your data suggests no automatic preference between black people and white people. You're described as an automatic preference. Your result is described as an automatic preference for black people over white people. If you were faster responding when black people and good are assigned to the same response key than when white people. So I guess I lean more black.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, I guess, but I have zero loyalty to any type of group.
Right. You're loyal to individuals that you respect.
Mm-hmm.
As we all should be.
So, I mean...
Absolutely.
And go ahead, call me anti-Semitic, because I literally have a best friend who's Jewish. There's a picture with me with a yarmulke on, for fuck's sake.
Well, you know what they'll say about that.
Well,
Oh, a racist would say that. An anti-Semite would say that.
oh, an anti-Semite will wear a yarmulke, have a rabbi regularly on this show.
Have you ever heard of Milo Yiannopoulos?
Oh yes, I've heard of him. Yes.
You look at what they call him. They call him a homophobic white supremacist neo-Nazi all day long.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's Jewish. He's married to like a black guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what does it tell you? You're dealing with people who literally just reality flew out the door.
It's like, you know, and the thing that kills me is more not so much their inherent retardation. Shout outs to Antifacist Gordon.
That guy. He likes us, don't he?
Oh,
he likes all of us so much.
I think he jerks off to us. I think he just enjoys
He's
it.
kind of. I've seen a picture of what I think he. If that information is accurate, He looks like a creepy character. Quite frankly, so many of these people do. I mean, they. I'm not trying to slander people, or they don't. A lot of them look like pedophiles, honestly.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they are.
They just look like creepy fucking sexual demons trying to just, like, rape people. Like, it's like slimy people. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Like
I mean, this, like, there's a Spider-Man kind of costume wearing, like, homeless looking guy at the rally that I went to on this past weekend. And I seen a bunch of pictures of him, and he just looks like he's like, I don't know. There's something not right about that guy. And I'm sure it'll all come out later on that he's probably an abusive person, as it does with a lot of these people. And look at Jack Smith the Fourth, whatever the hell the guy's name is. I mean, somebody to have the fourth past their name, that's real rich. I mean, he was accused of all sorts of sexual misconduct with different people when he was working at Mike, They got rid of him, but I mean, he just struck me as like a really like creepy guy too. And I'm not trying to judge people by their looks, but these are the most judgmental people, and what I've noticed is they're probably involved with some really horrible things.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they're so judgmental, because they're actually the very things that they attack people for being.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I've seen it happen time and time again.
Yeah, there's that saying, people usually accuse others of what they are themselves.
Yeah. So it's very weird. It's just like there's a lot of really creepy, weird people that just run around Antifa and these regressive types, and it's almost like they're like control freaks that want to like prey on people, and they have to have a certain rule parameters that gives them the ability to prey on people.
Yeah.
You're not having like total like predatorial behavior.
Yeah, it's like some form of like alternate universe puritanism.
Well, it is. It is a form of puritanism, because if you don't go along with everything they demand of you, well, you could be on the chopping block next. You'll be accused of being a witch, and well, you know how you know what you got to do to prove your innocence. You got to die.
Yeah.
And if you survive, then you're a witch. But you die, you're innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter, you're dead. But that's what I mean. Like it's almost on the same level. Mm-hmm. They just haven't really fully killed people yet. They've made attempts to murder people for their heresy. It's really a crazy. It's like a secularized religion or a cult.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother tells me, I talk to her often when I do. She tells me that these people remind her of like Scientologist type people.
Oh yeah.
They're just like culty, like creepy people. And she's no Christian. She don't read the Bible. She did at one point. She's not into any of that. She's totally like, I'd say she's pretty damn lefty. She's a pretty lefty person, but even she's saying these people are like, they're on the deep end of like crazy land. So if my mother's saying that and she's all sorts of all over the place in her thinking, then these people really are out there.
Oh yeah,
they really are, and that's me being nice to my mother. I'm not even trying to disrespect her, but I think you get where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I mean, even the blind can see.
Yeah, these people are just, and I hate to, like, I'm not trying to judge people, but since they've already judged us, and they've put some of the most outrageous, ridiculous claims against us, I kind of have to examine the source of these claims. And it's just as ridiculous as what they do. So, yeah, it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, then like, what? Let's really go down to it, because I mean, a lot of other political pundits have been talking about this. Why aren't we fighting back?
Well, here's the issue. What do we define fighting back as? That's the question, the parameters and the rules. Okay. What do we define as fighting back? That's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, well, for example, look what happened with Chick-fil-A. They bent to the knee to the LGBTQ, RSTUV, SUV, AT&T people. Like, it's like,
Well, the issue is this. It sounds like to me is like they keep threatening these businesses, and these businesses keep caving in.
Yeah.
Because they're not really looking into the claims or investigating the accusers to see if they're even legitimate claims. They're just like automatically by default just going along with whatever the accusers are telling them to do. That's a problem. And because of that, these Antifa types, these regressive leftists are winning. Because nobody's actually challenging their claims. Now, if the employers and these companies started to investigate some of the stuff, if they actually had the time to do it, they'd find that many of these claims are baseless and are ridiculous. Like, I'll tell you a story. I knew a guy who was a chef for about 10 years in California who was working. Well, I don't remember all the details, but the vagary that I do remember is there was like this vegan psycho activist from England, not California, England, not even the same country, who was protesting that restaurant from England over the internet. And she didn't like the type of meat that they served. And for whatever reason, this chef got targeted for it, to the level where she was actually going out and getting pictures of his children and posting on the internet and saying, "This is Hannibal Lecter's children." And he made a joking comment from a movie reference to Hannibal Lecter. And she said she was highly offended, contacted the company, and demanded the company do something about it. And they forced this person of 10 years that worked there to make a decision. They could either be fired or resign. And sure enough, they had to resign. They lost their job, and they were living on people's couches with their children and their family because they did not have a job. Because some vegan psychopath from England, who doesn't even live in California, probably never even went to the restaurant, decided to, be offended. And this happens way too much. I actually knew this person. This really happened. That's how crazy this is. And obviously, it's not hard to believe since it is, again, California. Something like that would happen. But yeah, it's completely crazy. These companies need to start protecting their employees because their employees are an investment, and they need to start taking into consideration that maybe the people contacting them aren't really sincere customers, that they're on the level of just basically pranking the place.
Yeah.
I mean, would a company like bend to the knee as somebody who was like prank calling the place and making weird demands? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, that little bookstore I prank called didn't close down after I pranked them.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously it's very selective of how they go about dealing with it. But the point is, these companies have to stop bending to the knee of these crazy activists who aren't even like customers to begin with.
No, they're not.
They're never going to go to their business. They're not going to invest money in their business. They're just doing it to get rid of people who didn't go along with their game.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a game.
Like, look at that saying: "Go woke, get woke, go broke." Like
it's very true.
Yeah, it
and
is.
you know, I know that term woke has been used in positive as well as negative ways. These people are utilizing it in a negative way, and it's to destroy our businesses.
Yeah, I mean, because look with in the movie when they try to pander to people in the movies, it's like, okay, you want to be all inclusive, cool, but it doesn't mean you sacrifice actual writing and creating a story. You don't just be like, okay, we're gonna make the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all black Indian women. Wait, what? How the fuck does that make sense?
You know, I had this conversation with somebody the other day, and they didn't quite agree with me, but it's because they haven't really looked into it far enough to really come to the same conclusion. I feel like everything that came out in like the late 70s, early 80s, and late 70s, 80s, and early 90s were all shows that these people in particular want to remake and completely demolish their franchises. I feel like that's what's happening with movie franchises, TV show. Like, have you seen the new Thundercats? Like, what they did to these characters?
Wait,
they look like this.
Wait, like which one? Because there was this the newest Thundercats that I know of. It was on Cartoon Network, and it was voiced by Will Friedle as Lionel. And I actually did like the storyline, and they canceled it after one season, and it was excellent.
Now, was this like the more anime-looking one, or was this like the one that looks like the distorted LSD trip?
Oh, the more anime-looking one.
Well, I'm not talking about the anime one. Like, that might have had a chance. They remade Thundercats, and it looks like somebody who was on LSD creating, like, bubble characters. I mean, it's complete,
Thundercats Roar? Oh, let me take a look
I don't
at
know.
this. Yeah, no,
it's
that's
like,
what it's called.
it's crazy. They've taken everything that had quality, and they're just destroying it.
Oh!
I don't...
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the pictures of this. Really?
And it seems like to me there's two elements to this. There might actually be more, but it seems like these SJW Antifa types are infiltrating these studios by getting work because, you know, they go to college, get these degrees, they end up in the field. They get hired by these companies to write scripts and do stuff because these companies are multi-billion-dollar companies. They figure, let's throw money at it, we'll make some money. But what it seems like these kids are doing is they're wrecking these shows. And they're completely getting them canceled and bankrupted. To the point where the people, there's two types of people. You have the money people who just want to make money, so they don't care what the content's going to be. And then you have the people who are literally wrecking the content. And they don't care if they wreck it because they probably have trust funds they can go home to anyway, even if they don't like, it doesn't work out. Or they'll just go to the next project and destroy that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Like, I'm looking at these pictures. It pisses me off so fucking bad because, like,
you're seeing this, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, am I crazy to like be like, what the hell's going on?
No, they like it's like they take like the 2011 Thundercats, which was the reboot,
which looked like they were actually trying to go with quality.
Yeah, and
then it just went to like LSD land, looking like bubble characters.
And this was me watching.
It's not even cute. It's not like super deformed like Japanese anime cute. It's like this like distorted like LSD trip stuff.
It really is. I mean, if I could give a quick review of the 2011 Thundercats, the storyline was the artwork was beautiful. The storyline was beautiful. There was this one episode of that one season that was so deep and so like it tugged at my heartstrings so much that when one of the characters passed away, I started to tear up because of the storyline behind it. And it had a life lesson. It had a life lesson attached to it. Yet now, like I'm looking at this thing, it looks like it's just gonna be fucking retarded, and they're probably gonna put some like gay shit in it.
Like I said, it just looks ridiculous. And they're doing this to all these shows from the 80s. They're just like wrecking their scripts. They're wrecking their franchises to the point where it just goes bankrupted. And it's crazy to me. Like they're trying to do this to the Terminator series. They're trying to do this to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. They're doing it to the Thundercats. And I think the issue is, I kind of have like a speculative theory on this. I think these shows are viewed as, perpetuations of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
And of the traditional society. And I think that these type of people have gone in there and with the intention to totally wreck them so that they never get made into any future, capacity in any decent way. And that they just die. And they just, nobody ever gets to see them or even hear about them again. Because when people hear of it, they'll never look into the original stuff because they'll just assume it's the same garbage that's now out.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's a speculative Tory theory I have, but I mean, I might be wrong, but I may not be wrong too. It's like, how could they not know they're going to wreck a franchise? Like, how do they not know what they're putting out as complete garbage?
No,
they gotta know this.
Yeah, no, I think they do know. Because they always use.
You have to be an idiot not to know.
Yeah, I mean, but they always use the same excuse.
They're idiots, but are they really that stupid? I don't think so.
No, they're not. But they use. When the 2011 Thundercats, they canceled it for the same stupid reason. Oh, it wasn't selling enough toys.
So then they produce this garbage that looks like LSD bubble bobble.
I mean, look. For example, they did the same thing with Teen Titans. The Teen Titans were like like I can't find one person that likes Teen Titans Go. Like when they canceled.
For me, it's
Like it's like, oh well, you had too many adults watching it, and I'm like, so what? It's a good story. Then sell fucking ads. Sell fucking ads. Well, that target the demographic that's actually watching the shit, or do like how they did with Samurai Jack. Move the fucking Teen Titans and all those to Adult Swim Toonami, where it's age appropriate. Maybe you could do more with the story then and not screw over the fans that are actually supporting the fucking content. But no, we got to sell fucking toys, and so we got to make toys more, we got to make these cartoons more retarded. Like, what's that say about the kids? That you got to make a cartoon. This is why I couldn't stand, like, even though when SpongeBob came out, I was an adult. I was like, I never understood SpongeBob because it was like, why you got this autistic thing freaking running around? Like, I don't get I don't see how it's fucking hilarious.
A lot of kids like that show too. I mean, I guess there's something to that.
Oh no, no, a lot of comedians that I do the open mics with, they like SpongeBob, and I'm like, this shit is fucking retarded. But but the thing is, I watched it. There's a lot of like sexual innuendo there, and I'm like, yo, for the kids.
There's adult humor in it for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, it's like I said. I feel like these executives and money people, they're not the creative minds behind all this stuff. So the issue with them is they're just the money people. They're going to throw money at it because they think it's going to make them money. They're not really interested in what the end result is so long as they make money. But again, I don't think they suspect or anticipate that the people working on these projects have the intention to literally wreck what they're working on. Like, because the people working on it are crazy. And they don't realize that they're wrecking the studio's budgets and money. And these money people aren't going to know that until it's too late.
Right.
And they have to cancel everything. It's literally, there's your cancel culture right in motion right there. They're literally wrecking things to make sure they get canceled.
Yeah, look at Charlie's Angels. The original the television Charlie's Angels was about 3 sexy women that solved crimes. Now, like you expect me to believe that these 3 little girls that in this new movie can kick my ass, like. And it's like, oh, why is no one watching this? Because it's shit. How you make an action movie with no action?
I don't even know if I seen like the new Charlie's Angel like advertised. You know, I hate to say it, I have no desire to even see it. I'm like not even excited to go watch it. There's like nothing that has me interested in seeing that movie.
Like I don't, because the freaking characters, I mean, the actresses look like little boys. I mean, it's like, that's not sexy.
I mean, I remember watching movies that came out like years ago of like Drew Barrymore, I think, was in it, and
Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu.
Like all these, like I went and saw that, and like I was having fun with that, you know. But it's just, I don't know. There's something about the new one. It's not appealing to me. Mm-hmm. Enough for me to go spend $15 in a movie theater to go watch it. Mm-hmm. I did that with Joker. The movie was superb.
Yes, it was.
I mean, visually, artistically, story-wise, you know, character. It actually drew me in because I found it to be intriguing. But this movie is it's not doing anything for me. I don't think it's doing anything for anyone, really. And obviously the numbers at the box office are probably going to conclude that, too. You know, I hate to say it, the new Terminator movie, there was a lot of stuff I did like in the movie. I did go to see that, but it bombed at the box office because there was just way too much stuff in it that I guess turned a lot of people off from the franchise. It might have killed the franchise, quite frankly, which is very sad because I actually enjoyed the Terminator series quite extensively. You know, it is a shame what's happened to the franchise in general, but yeah, I see this happening with all these franchise movies that came out of like the late 70s into the 80s and the early 90s. And like I said, the money people, they got no idea what's going on because they're not the creative minds. They're just the money people. They're hoping the creative minds behind all this stuff is going to create something that's going to make money. But unfortunately, I think what's happening is that's not happening. And they're losing $100 million in the process of creating garbage. And, you know, what do the creators care? They wreck the franchise. For them, it's great. Because that's just part of their agenda anyway.
Well, this is the thing. They end up using, they end up blaming, you know, men for this. I mean, that's the thing. Like, what Elizabeth Banks was like, oh, men are not watching it because they're misogynist. No. First of all, I have nothing against a strong female character. Wonder Woman was a fantastic movie.
They did a great job with Wonder Woman as a movie. I like that movie. I like the way it was driven. I mean, it was, you know, characters what it was, but they didn't try to, like, destroy the movie.
No, I mean, and here's the thing. It was so good. The movie
was
was
visually appealing, too, in terms of, like, just the style of how they went with it.
Like, yeah, because when it came to Justice League, like, I was kind of pissed off on how in Justice League they portrayed the Amazons. Because I'm like, wait a minute. In Wonder Woman, the way the Amazons were, the costumes were designed, it made sense for a society of warriors to be. Yeah. But now you have these, now in Justice League, you have the Amazonian women barely dressed in almost nothing. It's like, wait, how are you supposed to go off in battle with your tits hanging out?
I mean, you know,
it had
a lot of feminist type themes in the movie Wonder Woman. Sure, it's a woman, you know, heroine doing her thing, and it's the type of side. That's fine. I get it. I get the context. It's not like overly rude. It's not man hating.
No,
it's not like female supremacist. It's just Wonder Woman. I don't see any issue with that. But they're really trying to push this, you know, the people who are creating all this stuff lately, they're just trying to take any character they can latch onto and just totally wreck the hell out of it, or just change to the point where it doesn't even make sense.
And then they use
I feel terrible about this.
Yeah, they use the same excuse of, it's just a character. Why you're misogynist if you don't like this? You're homophobic if you don't like this. Like, no, don't blame me. If you want to have a black, Asian, transgender, one-eyed cyclops, build a fucking story, a compelling story around it. Don't just
make it interesting, where it draws people in, rather than just being a gimmick that, it's the only reason that's there is because you threw it in there with no interest of actually developing it.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing that kills me is not only do they want to make this all inclusive, they go and fuck up an established character. And because it already has an audience attached to it, so you alienate the core demographic by doing this without any fucking real work. It's fucking laziness.
It makes me wonder what other series are gonna butcher to the point of never being made again into anything decent. But like I said, I speculate on this. I theorize that there is a group of people who are in the creative field. Their goal is to wreck everything intentionally. And the people that are in the money aspect just want to make money. They don't really know what they're getting themselves into because they're not the creative minds. They don't create this stuff, like I've been saying.
Yeah.
They just throw money at it, hoping it's going to double their money because they're investors. And they hear about these prominent names, and that's what I mean. I almost can't even blame the money people for this because they probably really just don't know that these creators are intentionally destroying things. And you know how it is. These creators are a part of a clique, just like the news media people, where they'll like praise each other and they'll distort the facts about what their creative abilities are. So when these people with the money read these reviews about these directors, they'll be like, "Oh, this guy's great. This news article says so." Meanwhile, he's complete crap.
Yeah.
But the only reason everyone thinks he's good is because the media is going to lie about him because he's pushing their SJW agenda.
Yeah.
Look at Rotten Tomatoes trying to give Chappelle like comedy special like practically a 0, but all the organic real world people give him like 99%. That's what I'm saying. Like these people who are the creative elements, they are living in a bubble where they're getting praised with positive reviews by people who think the way they do, producing the same garbage that nobody but them wants to watch. And then these people with the money, they're going to read that information unsuspecting that these people must be good because they're getting praised when they're actually complete garbage. I don't know. I think there's something to what I'm saying. So I don't totally blame the money people. I understand their interests, but the people with the money, they got to start like maybe getting involved with the quality control. And I'm not saying restrict creativity, but make sure these creative people aren't in there with the intention of wrecking things. And, I'm glad to see that at least with the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie, they actually went back and they had to redo all the CGI stuff with Sonic. He looks a hell of a lot better than what he looked like previously.
Yeah.
So I can respect why they delayed that movie. They actually listened to the fans. The fans are upset that Sonic looked like ridiculous. And they went back and they changed the visuals where it looks more closer to the video game from at least what I've seen. So I got to respect that. I don't know what kind of movie it's going to be. I do intend to go see it when it comes out. Yeah, it might be a crap movie, and maybe it'll be a movie that's just meant to be a movie with some elements of a video game component to it. I mean, I saw the Detective Pikachu film. I actually enjoyed that. It had a lot of comedic elements to it. The characters looked like they did from the cartoon. It stands alone as a movie. I didn't have a problem with it. I'm sure, hopefully I'll feel the same way about the Sonic movie when I go see it. I'm just not going to go with any expectations. I just hope they just don't wreck it. Granted, Jim Carrey's in the movie. I know, I don't necessarily agree with his politics these days, but I would still go see a movie he's in, regardless if he plays a good character. So I can put that aside. I don't care what the personal politics of an actor is.
Yeah,
if they're doing a good job.
I'm on Twitter, and apparently, in fact, hey, let me play the video here, and I'll narrate it. So, a guy jumps up at some college thing going on in the common area, and he jumps up next to, I guess, two rabid feminists with a sign that says "All Lives Matter." So she rips the sign out of his hand and smacks him. Okay. Not to sound like a tough guy and not to sound like I like hitting women, but I don't like to get hit, especially if I'm not being violent towards you. Like, I don't care who you are, man, woman, trans. You put your paws on me, I'm knuckling up and I'm putting you down as hard as possible. Like, no.
Goes to show you, Louis, is people talk about equal rights, but then don't want them when it comes to actually doing equal things.
Yeah. Like, equal rights.
You want to hit people, then you better equally be prepared to be hit back.
Yeah, no, you can't. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, I'm equal, and then, you know, when you hit somebody, you know, and the dude punches you right back, it's like, yeah, no. You don't get to be like, oh, you don't get to have the same considerations of being, for, you know, the womanly considerations that men naturally give you if you do not, if you want to be, well, lack of a better term, equal. Like, okay,
I understand.
You want to get paid the same as a man? Okay, well then I don't have to pay. Then you pay for the date.
Well, that's just it. They'll attack you, but then they'll push it. And it's a double standard. It's not right.
Yeah,
and I think more and more as time passes, I think that's gonna become apparent.
Yeah. So, yeah, no way I would have put up with that. Unhinged. Liberals have to have no tolerance for anyone who doesn't share their views. Sickening. I have friends who are liberals, and I'm fine with it, to each his or her own. Like this. Look, she fucking rips the sign out of his hand. She smacks him. He says, call the police. He's like, no, he's fucking harassing. Just by standing there with a sign that says all lives matter. Huh.
I'm gonna step back now. That was a battery charge. I'll try. Let's see close to sorry? I don't want to take it
She's worried about her fucking safety, but apparently she's the one that launched the physical attack. I'm worried about my safety. You know, ladies, if you're worried about your safety, rule number 1, keep your fucking hands to yourself.
Well, she thinks it's acceptable to hit. This is the problem. People like her have been taught by these universities that they can hit men, and because they live in this evil patriarchy society, men aren't allowed to hit back.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to find out that those rules are out the fucking window.
Well,
they're going to get hit back, and they're going to get hurt, and they're not telling people what the consequences of their actions are.
Yeah, I mean, in junior high, let me tell you a little story. I mean, in junior high school, you know, I guess that's when you teach girls to kick boys in the balls. And they don't teach them in which situation to kick boys in the balls. No, they think it's funny to kick a dude in the nuts and watch him go jump down. There was this girl that used to like haul off and punch me in the face just for standing in a certain spot. And I would let her punch me in the face because it didn't hurt. Right. She would kick me. She would kick and punch me, and I wouldn't hit her back because I was afraid to hurt her. One, and then it happens. It didn't happen one year when my parents. I was like 14 or 13. Well, 12, 13. My parents were getting a divorce. I was already stressed the fuck out. She decided to just out of nowhere punch me in my face and kick me in my balls. Something snapped in me finally, and I grabbed her by the back of the neck and I smushed her on the floor. Like, and she was pissed off. Like it's like, and then they wanted to get me in trouble. It's like, oh, but you're stronger than her, you're bigger than her. I'm like, then why is she hitting me? Oh, you can't take a hit from a girl? Like, yeah, but why do I have to take a hit from a girl? If I didn't earn the ass, is like, if I'm not raping her, if I'm not putting my hands on her, why does she get carte blanche to hit me because she feels like hitting me? Like, no, this like, okay, can't you be a strong woman and keep your fucking hands to yourself? I'm sorry. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, this is like, you know, yeah, I mean, no, you can't be putting your hands on me because you happen to have a pussy. No, you know, you want equal rights, you get equal fights.
That's so true. And you know what? Actually, they're creating a false sense to allow people to allow women to hit men and then think that there's nothing can be done to them. Mm-hmm. That's creating a false sense of safety, because in the real world, you try to pull that, somebody might kill you. Mm-hmm. Because they don't really care. Those rules are out the window. They're gonna hurt you. They might even try to kidnap you. So, yeah, they're not being taught realistically why you don't hit people. Mm-hmm. Because somebody might hit you back, or they might actually kill you.
Oh yeah.
And you know, this is terrible. And yeah, unfortunately, I wish they would explain it. Like, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
That this is now the thing. And this is why Antifa recruits these impressionable women to be the shields in their front line, which is quite insulting, if you ask me. That you're good enough to be their shields while they sit behind you. Mm-hmm. I mean, what does that say about Antifa? They're cowards. That they would put women to fight their battles for them rather than fight their own battles themselves. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. Yeah, I'm not saying women aren't strong enough to fight battles, but I am saying that Antifa goes out of their way specifically to find women to fight those battles. Because they know that they're most vulnerable and the most emotionally driven. That they can be used for that purpose.
Yeah. This next article I want to talk about, I don't know, you probably already heard about this. Kavanaugh accuser Christy Blasey Ford accepts ACLU Courage Award. In a rare public appearance to pick up an award, the woman who accused U.S. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh of sexual assault says she had a responsibility to come forward. Christy Blasey Ford, a psychology professor at Palo Alto University in California, spoke Sunday after she accepted the Roger Baldwin Courage Award from the ACLU Southern California in Beverly Hills. She said, "When I came forward, came forward last September. I did not feel courageous. I was simply doing my duty as a citizen. I understood that not everyone would welcome my information, and I was prepared for a variety of outcomes, including being dismissed." Blasey Ford testified in blah 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 blah. Basically, and I made the comment: Liars Award for outstanding lying and pushing women's credibility back another 60 years. Thank you very much, Dr. Ford. You have done more to advance a real rape culture than any drunken frat bro ever could do from behind a dumpster. This bud's for you.
I gotta say that commentary you provided was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't she get caught like admitting that she lied about the whole scenario and that she was like put up to it by people?
Many people came forward and had that same story. You know, many people were caught that they were paid to give testimony. It's like, you know, and you know, and I have certain friends in my life that unfortunately that shit has happened to them, and they can't come forward because if they do, you know, the cops don't just arrest right away anymore because of so many false rape allegations that she would be left unprotected until they gathered evidence.
Yeah.
Which means
she's vulnerable.
Her attacker could kill her before it even goes to trial.
Oh, 100%.
So she has to stay. So she like, And this is because, and this is directly because women like to falsely accuse men of rape.
And the problem is, this Me Too movement is totally just like, it's actually hurting women and their ability to protect themselves from real rapists.
Yeah.
Because it's creating a culture of fake rape. And people are going to be less likely to believe when people are being raped, especially if it's a real case and they just seen so many fake, like it's like the hate crime situation. There's so many fake hate crimes. I can't honestly say I know if half the stuff is real anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of stuff's coming out, and it's going to overshadow real hate crimes, just like it's going to overshadow real rape crimes.
Oh yeah.
And it's actually doing a disservice to women to protecting them, as well as men too. Men get raped as well. People don't think that happens, but it does.
Oh no,
people get raped. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, there's like in fact, a recent study came out that men get raped more than women do. Especially when
they do.
Especially
they don't want to talk about it.
When you factor in jail rapes, when you factor in molestations that happen,
pedophiles.
Yeah. In fact, I was watching this video where they did an Ask Reddit, and they were reading all these Reddit stories, and it's like what when women sexually assaulted men, and you have these stories of men, they were drunk and a woman forced themselves on them and they're too drunk to like fight back, and they fuck them and they're like, well, no, I didn't report it because no one is going to believe me. I didn't report it because I would have been the one to get in trouble.
Right. One group is not taken serious when they say I've been raped, and another group is taken way too serious when a lot of times it's not the case.
I mean,
then the cases that are actually serious are just totally overshadowed and ignored.
And like, I didn't know this at the time, but talking to certain female friends, I found out I was sexually assaulted.
There you go.
I mean, hell, look, my story is I had a girl to come over to hook up. We were doing stuff, and she basically was sticking her finger in a certain place. She was squeezing my balls a little too hard. I told her to stop. She says, "Stop being a pussy." I'm like, "No, don't finger my asshole." I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like, don't be a bitch.
No, you're just talking about an experience that happened. These things happen.
Like, don't
believe it. They do.
She's like, She's like, stop being a bitch. She was wanting to pinch my nipple. Like, I'm telling her I don't like this shit, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, that's such a turn off." I'm like, "Excuse me, you don't want you." Well,
she's in the pain, and she thinks you're probably into that, and you're obviously not into that type of lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't want me to fuck you in your ass. What if I kept trying to fucking shove my dick in your ass, and I said, "Quit being a bitch and take it up the ass"? I would be wrong, right? Oh, but
yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my goodness, I can't deal with you." And so she put her clothes on and left. I'm like, "Good, all right, fine, whatever."
Right. Obviously, that wasn't that wasn't the thing that you're interested in, but she was trying to push it on you.
Yeah,
that's not right. She shouldn't be doing that to you.
Yeah. So I thought it was I just had a bad night, and then talking to certain female friends, like, no, that's sexual assault.
Yeah. No. If you did that to her, you'd be probably sitting in handcuffs and behind bars.
Oh yeah.
Because that would be considered serious. They do it to you, get over it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I guess you kind of did get over it in a way, but still, you shouldn't be treated like that either.
Yeah.
It works both ways. You shouldn't be treated that way, and neither should anyone else.
No.
Unless they totally consent to that type of activity.
And honestly,
and obviously, you chose not to consent to that, so therefore, she shouldn't have been pushing it on you.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. So yeah, it's so crazy. All this real stuff gets overshadowed by all this nonsense. It's so out of control.
And the woman, she was 48, for fuck's sake, acting like that. I'm like, yo, really?
There's some wild 48-year-olds out there, 50-year-old women that are just like totally like off the deep end.
Yeah.
There's some crazy cougars out there, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
They're into some funky things.
I mean, I thought I would be safe, get me an older woman, man, because I am so afraid.
Sometimes they're even more crazier than the younger guys.
Yeah,
younger guys can't handle those type of women sometimes. They don't know what they're in for.
Like, I'm so afraid of like me accidentally hitting on a girl thinking she's like in her late 20s, only to find out she's like 16, 17.
Well, that's another problem too, because then that's considered rape in certain of a minor. So then you can end up as a sexual predator on the sexual offender list.
I mean, that's why.
Even though she was practically legal, but only by like a year or two under.
Well, no, I'm talking about because of whatever they put in the food and the milk and stuff, that a lot of these little girls are starting to get mature womanly bodies at an early age.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other subject too. I mean,
that's
yes, there are girls who are hitting puberty at 6 because of serious hormonal imbalance, and then, like I said, that's a whole other subject. That is a thing happening. You have little girls developing bodies at 13 years old of like 17, 18-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what scares me, because a lot of times, I see these women, and it's like, no, they're still little girls. I'm like, oh, I feel bad. I feel shitty about myself, which is part of the reason why I go for older women, because it's like, at least I know for sure you are.
I understand. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I was at this pizzeria.
Yeah.
There's this girl who went in there. She's talking to the pizza guy. She looks like she's probably 23, 24. How old she was? She was like 16, 17.
Ugh, that's disgusting.
Wouldn't even have known. But she said her age. That's the only reason I know how old she was. But she did not look that young. And let me tell you, if you went out with her, if you ended up with her doing something and it turned south, you're screwed. You're going to jail.
Yep.
So you got to be careful. You're right. Absolutely got to be careful. So that's a thing. It's definitely a thing. Such a crazy world we live in. That's that much I can tell you. People gotta protect themselves. People trying to hit you. You can't defend yourself because they just laugh at you like, oh, yeah, it's crazy land. Clown world, as I think they call it.
Yes, it is. It's like,
yes.
It's like, oh well, you don't have the right political opinions, so you deserve to be discriminated against. In fact, I was on this chat site where you could randomly video chat with people.
Yeah.
And there was this old gay couple. And I was wearing my MAGA hat because that's part of my comedic shtick while I'm on this site, like a brown person wearing a MAGA hat, because people freak out. And I start talking to these old codgers, and they're like, "Where do you work?" I'm like, "Why you want to know that?" "I just want to know." "Oh, why? So you could fucking dox me and try to get me fired?" It's like, why? Like, what? Why don't you want me to work? Like, why are you trying to like get me to like dox me so I could lose my job? Like,
they want to punish you like you're guilty of like committing a crime in their mind. You're a thought criminal.
Yeah,
it's crazy talk. See, Louis, this is why the Bill of Rights and the very essence of what liberty in this country was supposed to be about on an individual basis is so crucial. It's something that protects all of us, no matter who we are. Even these idiots that want to do these crazy things. They don't respect those things, fine. They don't get it. But one day it's going to come to bite them in the butt when they need it. And that's why it's important we promote those things. Because that's the thing that truly protects all of us, no matter who we are. You know? It's the way I look at it. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy land things going on. You're absolutely right. And, we'll see what happens with our friends who are sitting in prison rotting away. Wasting away, as they say. we'll see what happens. I mean, it's getting cold out there, so I can't imagine Antifa running around too much in the cold, you know. But they're going to be busy on their computers trying to dox people, lie about people, and write nonsense to hurt people, call people's employers, whatever it is they got to do. So, yeah. Well, it's going to be an interesting winter ahead of us. I can say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, but don't worry. We got something planned for their asses.
Yeah, we do. You got that right. They keep every day they keep writing about me, but they think that they can't stop me. They're never going to stop me. I'll always find a way to rise up,
right?
Even if they try to tear me down, and that bothers them so much that I could do that because they don't have my number, or maybe they do and they just haven't called it yet.
Yeah, well, they'll probably do what has happened to me in the past. They'll call you from a blocked number and have like 5 guys and try to curse you out and act like we're tough guys. We're gonna kick your ass, Gabriel. So let me get this straight. You're calling me from a blocked number, from a gay fucking party line, and I'm supposed to be scared of you. All right, are you guys gonna come to my place? No?
Right.
Well,
the thing is, for them to come to my place, they'd have to actually put some work into it. There's no public transit to get to my place. They have to walk their butt to get there. It's not that close to public transit. It would just be the worst decision they'd ever make.
Yeah.
And then they got to deal with the whole community. I have a lot of friends here that know me and know what I'm about and know what I do. Politically, so it's not like it's a mystery to people. There's nothing these idiots can really do to get me, at least here, because they're going to run into. Most people know who I am. If they try to come at me, it's not going to end well for them. You know? So, not a good decision.
Yeah.
I don't go out of my way to hurt people. They shouldn't either. Well, if they try to, well, they can come down here and have a good time at the bar. I'll let them meet some people. Maybe they'll have a couple of drinks. Maybe they won't. It's up to them. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah. So, anyways, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
It's always fun to have you on. And
we had some good discussions tonight about different topics. Some of the same.
And they all relate. Ain't that funny? So.
Yeah, got to keep them on their toes, I guess.
Right. So anything to promote?
Just my social media. You can go to Antifa's social media page. You can find all my links there.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Well, actually, I'm not really kidding.
Not really.
But no, you can go to my YouTube channel at GB0083, and it has most of my social media links on there. If you do try to add me on Facebook, send me a message so I know what your deal is. Because I do have a lot of spies trying to add me to my page, trying to add me on the page.
Yeah.
So I just want to know that you're good, and I'll let you be part of my wacky page.
Yeah, and it is wacky.
Yeah, I post a lot of comedy stuff. And believe it or not, I have a pretty good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Actually, I've had how you get instant messages on the notices and stuff. I've had whole section notices of just laughing faces from top to bottom.
Ah, yes.
Because that's how much people think the stuff I post is funny at times.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm about everyone having a fun time, people learning things and having a good time. Because we got to be positive.
Yep.
That's how we're gonna build a better society.
Yep.
Having fun doing it and enjoying ourselves. So yeah. Come on down, check it out.
I'd like to give a big shout out to my American Guard peoples out there. Also, a big shout out to the
Holla.
A shout out to the Proud Boys. Keep up the fight. Don't give up. Never surrender.
Yep. Those groups are going to do some good things in the future. I guarantee it. Much more positive than what the media wants to claim. And you just got to stick to that plan.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
All right. So yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Please like, comment, share however you are listening to this show. Hit that like button. Hey, join the discussion. Leave a comment. Leave a review. Give me 5 stars. Give me 5 stars and a tip. Like my friend Muhammad in the Lyft car told me. Give me 5 stars. So and as always, from my house to your house, mahalo.
That's the end of my show. Donk.
You son of a bitch.
Help the Crowd Shout Radio Show grow and thrive by doing something you already do. Shop on Amazon. Amazon always has great deals for whatever you are looking for. From survivalists and riot gear to beanie babies. Next time you're going to shop at Amazon, use my link. The prices stay the same, but I get credit for the sale. Just go to tinyurl.com/LouisB. And just shop normally, knowing that you're helping support the Crotch Shot Radio Show. That's tinyurl.com/LouisB.